except that the plough was actually a cockatoo. Being held by the farmer with the cockatoo's beak being the operative part of the plough.
Oh, okay.
John Shaw Neilson. When Margaret Roberts' whacking great thick compendium of everything John Shaw Neilson ever wrote came out a few years ago, it seemed as if Neilson was all over the place. There was everything in it, from limericks to sentimental early verse to political commentary. And I think it's important to realise that out of that incredible range of work, Neilson's editors and publishers honed in on a particular stream because they knew it would sell. And the audience that they knew it would appeal to were well-to-do ladies in the central, inner eastern suburbs and southern suburbs of Melbourne. As A.G. Stevens, Neilson's editor, said to him, in about 1927 or thereabouts, Jock. He was always known to all his friends and family just as Jock. When you hit Melbourne, you've got to remember your image, because those society ladies in Toorak and Kew and South Yarra will be expecting diamonds and pearls to fall from your lips. But we've got to remember above all else that he was a worker and a democrat, and it may surprise some people to learn that he was remembered most by his family for his sense of humour. It was a typically dry Scottish sense of humour. So dry that some people, I think, could misunderstand. So at one stage, his nephew Jack Rick Keam was talking to him, and Jock said, Jack, my father was a grand man. He made his share of mistakes, of course, but he only ever made one big mistake in his life. And Jack said, what was that, Jock? Marrying my mother. Neilson loved his mother dearly, in fact, but she was a troubled woman. She is what we now know as bipolar. Often in his labouring work, Neilson would encounter fellow workers who would boast about their achievements, and he probably didn't endear himself to them one day where he declared, "Gentlemen, I think that gorillas could easily be trained to do this work." We know that when he in his childhood in the western part of Victoria, that he grew to love the traditional music of England and Scotland and Ireland. There was one local bloke by the name of Eli Billingham in the 1880s who used to put on an act for house parties and so forth. He would have rings in his ears and a bandana and a performing dog balanced behind the saddle of his horse, and he was a fiddler. And that was Jock's first exposure to the traditional fiddle music of the British Isles. American music was also a big influence, coming in from the gold rushes and early music hall. And he was a great lover of the songs of Stephen Foster. There were also many German people in that area and all through the neighbouring part of South Australia, and he acquired a love for German music and German people, and later in life he would often team up with a German workmate. So he wrote this piece probably in the middle of World War I or thereabouts, at the time of anti-German hysteria. It's called Take Down the Fiddle, Karl. And I've always thought that Karl was one of his workmates, but it just occurs to me now that perhaps Karl was the host of the establishment that's described in the song, the publican. And they openly call you the enemy, call you the swine, but nothing they say can ever make you into a foe man of mine. Now the rain's gone, the mountains, the gullies have faded away. Take down your old fiddle, Karl. The work is all done for the day. The ganger sits down in the barroom with money to spend, and many will laugh at his loudness and hail him as friend. How strong the mist settles, it sinks in the souls of us all. Take down your old fiddle, Karl, that hangs on the peg on the wall. Of the jackhammer's clatter, tired of the rattle of stone. The many who boast of all their travels, the many who moan. We are tired of the spoil and the spoilers, tired of the lifting of clay. Take down your old fiddle, Karl. Work is all done for the day. That your old fiddle sings, they will ever be young. It goes out and it tries to be saying what cannot be sung. And the speech that you have, Karl, to me it means nothing at all. But your little old impudent fiddle sings in the tongues of us all.